moving on, the next part would be now, the strangest part about this section is probably the rhythm. We start off comes sliding up from nowhere, if you like, up to the 15th fret on the E string, and then a slow, agonising bend, hopefully getting you up a tone from where you started. Re-pick it twice and then let it down. So, and now a sextuplet pattern at the end, which is a 15, 14, 12 repeated. But now for the really odd rhythmic part. So most of this next lick can be broken down so it's pairs of notes. And you might want to tackle the quickest moments with 2 upstrokes in a row. So for instance here, to start things off, we're sliding from the 12th up to the 14th fret on the E. And now 14th on the E again, leading to the 15th fret on the B. So you might as well do those in one pick movement. So down, up, up. Now you move down to the G, just one note this time, 14th fret. Next pair of notes, 12th on the G, 14th on the D. And now you move down 11 and 12 on the same strings. And now 12th fret on the D, quickly followed by 14th fret on the A. And now you shift down a bit, and this is the strangest shape of the lot. 9 going on the D string, going down to 12 on the A string. And then the same thing again, but with a 10 instead of a 12 on the A string. And that you slide all the way down to the E on the 7th fret of the A string. So that whole lick again should sound like... and this note here is your get-out clause at the end of the lick. 7th fret on the D, slide up a tone, wobble yourself silly. Okay, next up we have a fiddly arpeggio lick, which reminds me slightly of some ideas Michelangelo fans might have encountered before. Basically what you need to prepare here is this C major 7 arpeggio shape here. If you learn it in this place, 7th and 8th frets on the low E, and then 7th and 10th on the A string, you can then play the same shape 2 frets higher on the middle strings, and 3 more frets higher on the top 2 strings. And it's all the same thing. So that's how to play enormous arpeggios without tears. And what Steve's doing, just to make it a little quirkier, is first of all, sliding down from the 12th fret to approach that lowest note. And then when it's time to change strings, rather than jumping up suddenly, he plays that first note on the D string at the same fret he's already been to. So 7, 8, 7, 10, 7, and now slide up, play the same pattern again. And this, technically, you might consider a wrong note, but it sounds great up to speed. So that whole part of the lick. And you round things off by kind of going low note, high note, low note on the top string. So, and then 13 and 12 on the B. So. Then we have to slide, this is quite a fiddly bit, all the way up to the 19th fret, pull off to the 17th, and now a big screaming bend, 20th fret on the top string, up 2 frets. Now we have a completely different challenge. This time it's your picking hand that's going to do all the suffering. So this Yngwie fans will recognise as a pedal tone lick. So the basic melody here is 19 on the E string and then 17 on each string in turn, E, B, G, D, and finally the A. And what makes it a pedal tone lick is that in between every one of those, you add this cheeky 20th fret on the top E. So slowly you've got... So that's a lot of jumping around for your picking hand to do. I would suggest, so long as part of your picking hand is anchored somewhere on the body of the guitar, you shouldn't lose your bearings. Now for another sort of bluesy moment. Well, it starts promisingly enough. Big soulful bend there, 20th fret on the B string, upper tone. And then, I think the rhythm's quite important there. But that's basically playing all the notes chromatically from the 20th down to the 17th frets on the B string. And now one of those licks where you really have to look at the neck of the guitar, otherwise it'll go wrong. Almost tie a yellow ribbon, if you think that way. So that's 20th fret down to 15th, and then 17th fret sliding down to the 12th. Now 15th down to the 10th. And finally, 12th sliding down to 8th. So, and now some fun for any sweep picking fans out there. The next lick is you speed it up, and hopefully you've all encountered this technique at some point before. The idea is you're holding down a chord shape. In this first example, it's a 9th on the G, 8th on the B, 7th on the E string. You just drag your pick over each note in turn, and with your fretting hand, you try and release each note as soon as you've finished with it. So note that that sounds cleaner than... That's a bit too much Black Magic Woman, I think. But whenever you're playing with a high gain sound, I think you need to keep the notes distinct, so that at any given time you're only hearing one. So there's one more note at the end here, 10th fret on the E, so your picking hand would be going down, 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 up. And the next 4 clumps of notes, it's the same idea but different chord shapes. So after that one, the next one's actually kind of a D major add 9 arpeggio. So just think of a major chord in the E shape based in that part of the neck. It's 12 on the D, 11 on the G, and then 10 on these 2 strings. So, and that cheeky upstroke at the end once again. So now we move up to here, and it's 14th fret on the D, followed by 3 12th fret notes in a row, and the upstroke note is the 15th now on the E. And now for a typically Steve Vai shape, which starts out like a power chord, 14 and 16 on the middle 2 strings, but then 15 on the B, 14 on the E, and 17 for your upstroke at the end here. And now chaos sets in. So for that part there, I think the rhythm is the most important bit. If you start just by learning the melody as 1 and 2 and... So that big note there crops up on beat 1 of the next bar. And then almost as a grace note before each of those main notes, you have this diagonal shape. It's the same shape that we started with, but instead of being down here, it's here. And it's basically going 18, 19, 20, 19, 20, 21. And then the next bar, 22.